us on a journey and grab your elemental shifter. We gotta find the ultimate power and come together to face the darkness. It's time to echo up, become a hero and save the planet. We'll be victorious, accept the challenge and win the gambit. The stage is set as the warriors rise, each side vying for the ultimate prize. We'll find the power hidden deep within, so let the chessitary games begin.
Hey, Positive Power fans, this is Ginger Star. Welcome back to another Positive Power episode with Ginger Star. Just saying. All right. And of course, for those of you who are new here, don't forget to hit the power button. What is the power button?
Subscribe.
Yes, it is the subscribe button. And for those of you who are watching us on Rumble, it is your Rumble button. I have a very special guest with me here today. Her name is Sandra Alexander. Sandra, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, by the way?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you. I'm happy. Happy to be here.
Yes. And Sandra already knows because we do little pre-interviews here. So Sandra, today your word is happy. For our audience members that are watching from home, don't forget to write down how many times that the word happy was used. The winning comment at the end of the video, the first one to comment will get a shout out in one of our shout out videos. So be looking out for that. All right. So we're going to jump right into the interview. Your challenge is to say the word happy as many times as you can. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome sauce. All right. So I'm just going to start here because you love to do character voices. So you have been in the professional voice acting industry for how long now?
About 10 years.
Oh, wow. 10 years. What is the most memorable role that you've ever done?
I have more than one, but an animated one I did was for a company that sells coconut cream, and they're called Cara, and I was playing somebody named Clara, and she was a mom, and she was holding a news conference because everybody loved her coconut cream. So she was going, "It's a reporter over there." And she was being silly, and "I love making all my pies with coconut cream," and that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. And I think that it's fun when you get to play characters like that. What other type of voice acting work have you done?
Well, I've done things that are for e-learning or phone menu work, and some commercial work as well. So I've done a few. There are a few things on YouTube. I can plug my site here, can't I? I would be happy to do that.
Absolutely, you can. We're all about free plugs here. Go for it.
Okay, so yeah, I have stuff at sandraspeaks.com. That's my website.
Are there any other social media platforms that my fans and my followers could maybe find you aside from the website?
I have LinkedIn. I have a Twitter account, and I have Facebook, and that's mostly what I'm using right now.
I also know that you're in the home healthcare profession and you do communication speech therapy. Tell us a little bit about how you got into that profession and what is your drive and your motivation to keep working in that field?
Well, let's see. I've done speech therapy. I was going to do a helping profession when I was very young. I hadn't decided which, and then I honed in on speech therapy and got a bachelor's degree in that many years ago, well before you were born, and from the University of Redlands. And then I went into the Peace Corps and did that in the Peace Corps for a couple of years. and then came back and eventually got my master's degree in it and got into home health care because I liked working with people in their homes, because then I felt like you can make a bigger impact if you're working with the parents, or if I'm working with adults with their spouses or family to help them. So trying to help people figure out a way around the obstacle that's causing the problems with communication.
And you also do a little bit of homeschooling too. And I understand that you're homeschooling right now. So what is the biggest difference between homeschooling and, sending your kids to public school? Where do you think, what's the better value? Like, what's the biggest difference to you?
There's more than one difference, but the bigger difference, I'm going to use happy, but besides that, because we have more control over what's the content of what the children are learning, and I felt that was important. I thought I had worked in the public schools as a speech therapist prior to being married, and there was a lot of obstacles being put in the way by administration. It was not the teachers. The teachers in the public schools are generally very, very good and are working very hard with not a lot of support. So it's never been the teachers. But there was just all kinds of other obstacles, and I didn't want my kids, and this is a long time ago, to have to go through that. So I thought, I want to homeschool, and and then you can kind of also follow, like, if you figure out your child's learning style, you can more cater to what they're doing, and they don't have to be one of 25 or 30 in the room, that kind of thing.
And that totally makes sense. I myself growing up was homeschooled. It's interesting because I did private school for a while. I did homeschooling for a while, and I did public school. So for me personally, like it was kind of an interesting experience, like going through that, because our family moved around quite a bit. My dad was in the hotel industry professionally. And because of that, we had to move to different states, for his work and his career. At some point, I'm sad to say my parents did divorce, but I still enjoyed going to visit him from time to time in the summer, and just traveling to all these different places. And it was like an adventure. And when I came back to school, like, I got to tell all my friends about it. But I will say, one of the biggest things that I personally noticed from going through that experience, I was homeschooled all the way up until about, I want to say it was the 6th or 7th grade. And eventually, I got put into public school. And I think part of the reason was because my mom was taking on another career, so she couldn't really spend as much time with me and my brother at home. And then the other reason, I kind of did not develop very many social skills growing up. I was always kind of like attached and, just to my mom. And so, I needed to develop, a few social skills. That was the main reason. But I developed some friends, like, I was in Girl Scouts and stuff like that. And so, going through those experiences, it was time to move on. But for me personally, one of the biggest things that I noticed is that when I got to middle school, they almost instantly wanted to put me in high school because I was ahead of the class on the material. And I really think that, part of the reason was because I was in homeschool. And I think that you learn a lot more when you're homeschooled compared to, when you're in the public school system. And that they had to move me up because I still remember being that kid. I don't know how they do homeschool today, but I remember having these little booklets, and like you had like 4.1, 4.2, 4.3. And then when you got to 4.9, after you finished that book, then you went to 5.0 and you were in the 5th grade. I was doing like eighth and ninth grade math, by time I got to public school. So that was kind of like an interesting experience.
Wow.
Well, would you say that kids learn more in homeschool than they do in public school? Or do you feel like it's very differently on that, like a situation scenario basis?
I think it varies. I mean, I think the opportunity to learn more is there. And it depends on the child's interests and what the parents can do and all of that. And it's measured differently district to district, state to state anyway. So I think the opportunity to learn more and for a person to follow their interest is better supported in the home setting in general. This is a generalization, obviously. My personal bias is that I think homeschool overall is generally better. I know not everybody can do it, and it's not all bad to be public schooled. That's just my bias toward it, though.
Yeah. Do your kids still do like outdoor activities? Like,
oh yeah, my daughter's in Girl Scouts. She's finishing up. She's going to be in her last year, so she's doing a gold award. She sings in a chorus. And my son does some volunteer stuff, and he goes to a lot of ball games because he's a sports fan. And so he goes to all the missions, which is the farm team here in San Antonio. He'll go to San Antonio Spurs games. He gets out and about. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And it's good to have, to make sure that, kids are doing those social activities, because it can get kind of lonely in the house sometimes, when you're not like socializing, and you want them. It's important to have social skills.
Definitely.
Big part of development, I would say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah, and it makes us happy.
Yes, it does. We try to be as happy as we can. Hope they're counting.
Yes. All right. Well, I do want to note, because you said you've been in the profession of voice acting for about 10 years. So is there any advice that you could maybe give for someone who would like to enter into the profession?
Well, there's, first of all, that it is a lot of fun, but it is work. And I do it because I enjoy it. You have to really enjoy it. Because voiceovers, you end up trying out for people over and over and over. So you get told no a lot or ignored. So be okay hearing no or not hearing back. And if you want, you can enter into it, but just also value what you're doing. So some people will try not to pay you. That happens a lot in voiceover. So, you'd want to learn about it a little bit, take some courses, take some business courses, so that you don't have somebody literally steal your voice if you audition and use it and not pay it. That can happen. So, protect yourself if you're going to do it, but it's a lot of fun. I think everybody should give it a try if they like that kind of activity.
That's wonderful. So, guys, aspiring voice actresses and actors and performers, reach out to Sandra. I'm sure that she could give you guys a ton of advice. And of course, if you're a casting director or anything, and if you're looking for someone who can do those funny type of characters, reach out to her, guys. She's amazing.
I've got a demo reel. That's right.
She's got a demo reel, and it makes us happy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And guys, don't forget to follow her, comment, like, share, and subscribe. Smash that power button if you haven't already.
And remember, smashing means to hit this big button that says power, and that makes you subscribe. And I got that right. Yay.
That's perfect.
I work in special education for a reason.
And that's a great profession for a voice actor, I think, because then you actually understand what kids are looking for when it comes to voices. So that's great. Yes. So subscribe, like, share, all of that. And as always,
Stay positive.
stay positive.